We are joined by author and biblical researcher Ralph Ellis. As we move further along in the biblical chronology, Ralph, is there historical evidence for what the Bible and Torah refer to as the Israelites in Egypt?
Yes, they were there, and again we have the evidence from the actual Bible itself. So what this eruption caused, as I said, was a political dispute. And we have a record of that political dispute, and that dispute was actually between the Theban Egyptians and the northern Egyptians, the lower Egyptians, who were called the Hyksos. And we know that this event was connected with the Exodus because we have a stela which records elements of the Exodus. It records elements of the plagues. And yes, I suppose it does record elements of the Exodus as well upon it. It records the building of the tabernacle, basically. And this is called the Ahmosi stela, the stela of Ahmosi I. And so we're talking about 1570 odd BC here. And the main event that Ahmosi I is known for is for the expulsion of the Hyksos. So there was an Exodus, a real historical Exodus, and it's called the Hyksos Exodus. And I won't go through all the details of it because we don't have enough time for this. But the patriarchs in the Bible, of course, were called shepherds, or they were all known as shepherds. That's pretty much the sort of generic term for all of the patriarchs within the Torah. And of course, the Hyksos were known as the shepherd kings. And we know that the Israelites were the Hyksos shepherd kings because, again, we have the evidence from the Torah itself. Well, actually, the second edition of the Torah, which is the one written by Josephus Flavius. So we have this example of Abraham, one of the patriarchs of the Israelites, of course. And in the Bible, it says that Abraham, who was a shepherd, had 318 servants. Well, that's a bit strange for a shepherd. You know, there's not many shepherds with a few starving sheep on the top of a hill somewhere who have 318 servants. But Josephus Flavius, in his edition, and remember his edition of the Torah is much older than the current edition we have, he goes one step further, and he says that Abraham had 318 army officers. Now, that is very strange for any shepherd to have 318 army officers and an army of unlimited manpower. Now, there was only one group of shepherds in the 1500s BC who had such an army, and they were the shepherd kings, the Hyksos. So, in answer to your question, who were the Israelites? They were the Hyksos. And these were a group of people that we know about quite a lot in history. They were a group of people who were living mainly in Lower Egypt, that's northern Egypt. They are thought to have been immigrants into Egypt who took over northern Egypt, and they were expelled by Ahmosi I in a great exodus. And that great exodus is the biblical exodus. And we don't have time to go through all the comparisons here, but you can rest assured that all of the details are exactly the same in both of these exoduses.
As we continue exploring the information and research presented by Ralph Ellis, we encourage everyone to join Ralph in discussion on his Facebook page, The Gospel of King Jesus. Post your questions, comments, and ideas for Ralph and other page members to comment on. And join us also for future live webcasts that will be featured on the Facebook page.